And welcome back. Well, I'm here with Andrea Williams, host of The Gathering. Schools and families, no doubt, have had to go through one of the biggest transitions during the pandemic. But our next guest says they will not let pain interfere with their progress. So we are joined now by Denise Fields Russell, principal at Hope Christian School, Caritas. It's just one of the schools in the network of Hope Christian Schools. We're so excited to have you here. Good morning to you, Denise.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
We
Hi,
are doing
Denise.
well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us this morning. I'm so excited to hear a little bit more about your school. I know Andrea knows a little bit as well, but let's kind of talk a little bit about you guys in general and how you've kind of, dealt with some of the pain points, that term of what you've dealt with during the pandemic at the Hope community.
Yes, thank you so much. And hey, Andrea, good to see you again, huh?
Hello.
I'm proud principal of Hope Christian Schools, Caritas. It has been a struggle. I mean, as it has been for
Yeah.
everyone, right? But as educators, and I've always said this to my staff, there's just one thing we can't do when it comes to our children, and that's stop. Like the pandemic, none of us, I don't care how veteran you may be, none of us have ever had to deal with anything like this. And so we're just proud that we've been able to keep trucking through. I don't want to go too far yet. I'm sure you have some more questions, but we're excited about the progress we've been able to make in spite of or despite the pandemic right now.
Yeah, and you're right. We do have a lot of questions for you this morning because, as you just stated, the Hope mission cannot be stopped due to the challenges with this pandemic. So, talk about what some of your main priorities have been in the midst of this pandemic in dealing with things.
Yes. The main priority has been to figure out how to make it happen. Actually, that was our theme for the last couple of years. Like, make it happen. We can't make excuses; we make adjustments, right? And so, our first priority was making sure that our children and our families were okay. We've been blessed working for Open Sky Education, being under Open Sky Education as the Hope Schools Network. We were able to stay employed. And so many other people did not have that option, including educators. We were still employed from home. So we said, we may be okay. We can walk downstairs or anywhere in our home and fix breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but not all of our families can. So we definitely made that priority number one. Priority number two was making sure that every student had a device in their home, right? A laptop, a Chromebook, if you will, just to make sure that they were ready. And then we didn't even think about what about those who don't have internet services? So we were able to just really partner with some of those providers here in the city. And when I say we made it happen, parents who couldn't come to the school to get Chromebooks, our staff, our dean team made it happen and took the Chromebooks, whether it was to their home, to the daycare, to mom's job. We made sure that every student enrolled in Hope Schools had that Chromebook readily available because learning can't stop. Education doesn't stop even in the middle of a pandemic.
I love what you said,
That's
where you're
good
like,
stuff.
no excuses, only adjustments. It's very
That's
clear
right.
that's what you did. So how did you then make the plan of action going forward for Hope Community? I see the kids spaced out that 6 feet, stuff like that.
Yes. The plan of action. Well, if we remember, I remember vividly. It was March, I believe it was the 13th. And the only reason I know it so well is because I was headed out on a cruise for vacation the following week and it was canceled, right? So I remember clearly being in March, heading to work, having to send an email as I'm pulling into the parking lot to let the staff know you got to go back home, right? But because again, we were still employed, we never stopped. So this Zoom has been amazing. I wish I thought of the idea first, but every
Yeah.
day we still checking in with our staff members on what's called Zoom at noon. And every day we were just talking through how this is going to work. And it was so painful for so many of our teachers because no one signed up to be a virtual learning teacher, right? Parents are saying the same thing, but we had to keep talking through it. I mean, from trainings, making sure my staff members have their cameras on so we can see them and make sure that they are getting the training, jotting this down, practicing. We were modeling, mentoring, motivating, and then multiplying what we knew, making sure our teachers knew it. So then in turn, when the students return, they could do the same thing. And so we feel like that's what's been one of our major attributes or advantages of this whole pandemic situation right now.
And Denise, talking and just listening to you talk, I love the passion. And I'm sure that that was helpful to not only the parents who were kind of in limbo, not knowing how things were going to go, but to those who work with you as educators as well. So I think it's important for you to share with us what has been some of the progress that you've been able to make in the middle of this pandemic.
Well, passion is right. For some reason, I never have to announce that I am passionate about what I do. It just comes out. I just got that kind of big mouth and personality. I think some of the major progress is the retention rate. Everyone it was in a panic at first. Like, is it just my school shutting down? Is it just my school? And I was so consistent with our message. This isn't a Hope Schools pandemic. It's not an Open Sky pandemic. It's not a Wisconsin. It's a world pandemic. Like, this is happening everywhere. So just encouraging the parents to be patient, even inviting them onto some of our planning meetings during our Zoom at noon, so that they can hear the progress that was taking place. So the retention rate, definitely. Being able to start the year fully staffed, that's usually a huge issue. Some people can't operate their schools because they don't have enough teachers. We have teachers, we have teaching assistants, we have proactive hires, which was a new role that we embedded into our program this year, right? Meaning these are like our in-house teachers who are ready to go, not just in-house subs, not people just covering, but teachers who are on deck. In the event someone has to leave after the year starts, these teachers have already been trained. They know our kids. They know our model. They know our expectations. They can move right into that.
Incredible.
Having so many families in urban education who are tech savvy on the game, but not as tech savvy when it comes to like the Chromebooks and Google Classroom and Google Meets, all of this, but being
Right.
able to walk them through. I'm not just like the principal who's telling people what to do. I'm like John Maxwell. I'm going to show you what to do, right? And so I've been
Yes.
talking the teachers through, the parents through, calling the parents up, having one-on-one sessions with them with masks on, may I add. Just making sure that we're communicating across the board with everyone, including daycare workers. I must say, we have a student who's actually in a facility, right? Not at home, but in a facility. My dean team reached out to the facility workers and said, hey, we have an assessment. We need to see where he is so that when we can bring him back into the setting, we already have the data. So again, we, like
That's
you heard
incredible.
me say, make adjustments, not excuses.
I
I
love it.
love
Denise,
that.
thank you so much for joining us. We ran out of time. You are
Okay.
infectious. Your school is incredible. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, ladies. Good seeing you, and good seeing you again, Andrea.
You too. Take care.
Take
All
care.
right, and select seats right now in grades K4 through 12 are still available, and the October application window is open. So to learn more about Christian schools, Hope Christian Schools, sorry, there we go, give them a call at 414-377-0430 or visit their website. It's hopeschools.org.